All right, let's bring in Professor Roman Sheremeta, a Ukrainian national, board member of the Ukrainian American House, and associate professor at Case Western Reserve University. Professor, thank you so much for joining us here on Scripps News. You, along with the rest of the world, saw what happened in the White House. What is your reaction to those events?
Well, thank you for having me. First of all, I had a tiny suspicion that this could be a turn of the event, because even yesterday, as I was on the national TV speaking in Ukraine, I told that it is possible that the deal is not going to go through because of some last minute things that could happen. And so in that regard, I was right. And at the same time, I was shocked, because I didn't expect that this could happen. I was expecting that there could be some additional points of negotiation that could come up, but I did not expect that this will be an outright exchange that happened in the White House. And so from that regard, it took me by a surprise. But it was a tough one, especially for President Zelenskyy, who I have heard the rhetoric for President Trump and J.D. Vance, who basically, Trump repeated that he gave $350 billion to Ukraine, that America gave, which is not true, factually not true. He repeated that Ukraine would not stand even 2 weeks without the U.S. help. And we need to remember, to the beginning of the war, when Russia attacked, Ukraine had no American weapons, except some Javelin missiles that U.S. gave, but there was no Patriot systems, there were no tanks, nothing. There were no howitzers. So Ukraine stood for a long time, and then United States started to help, and the rest of the world started to help. So again, that was an insult from J.D. Vance, who literally told President Zelenskyy that he takes people on propaganda tours, and Zelenskyy told him, hey, come and visit our country, see it for yourself, because you haven't been. How can you even tell what's going on? So I can definitely sympathize with Zelenskyy, and he was in a tough spot, and not to respond would be a difficult thing, but he did, and that escalated, and we saw what we saw.
And I think we all watched in shock, and now it brings to mind the future of U.S. Ukraine relations. Where do you think we go from here?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I do think that there is hope for a future, and the pressure will mount on President Trump as well from here on, because he promised to stop the war, and the war will continue, and more people will die. And I mean, he can blame and say, hey, it's all Ukraine's fault, they don't want to negotiate. But I don't think that it's even in his best interest, or the interest of the United States. We want to stop Russia. We don't want for Russia to be emboldened and take further steps where it will cost us significantly more not to support Ukraine than to support Ukraine now. So I presume that there will be an exchange of diplomacy steps. I don't know if President Zelenskyy anytime soon will come back to the United States and probably formally or informally apologize to President Trump. I don't know how Trump's rhetoric will change, but I hope that these steps will be taken forward, because it will be tough for Ukraine without the United States help. It will be. I mean, more and more Ukrainians will die. Europe will probably pick up in their support of Ukraine, but Europe is also not in the position yet to support Ukraine militarily. They can do it financially, but they don't produce enough weapons. So yeah, we're in a pretty tough spot, and I hope that diplomacy will resume.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. We just have a few seconds left. How do you think this is going to affect Ukraine's economy right now? There's got to be real-world implications for this.
Well, as you can see, probably you have seen the stock market has kind of went down, both for Russia and Ukraine, although Ukraine doesn't have a stock market as such. So I don't think there's going to be an imminent impact on Ukraine's economy. Ukraine was doing, they were defending their country, and they'll continue to defend their country. The business has been turned around to be in a war economy type. So I think Ukraine will stand. Europe will pick up the fight, and United States hope will join them.
Professor Roman Sheremeta from Case Western Reserve University, thank you so much for your insight today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.